Welcome to the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving, goal-oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. Welcome to episode 338, Warm Up to Wind Down. Well, hello. Welcome back to the podcast and happy July. Seriously, July. Here we are, halfway through 2025 in July. Time just goes too fast. I'm just like, oh, that'll be another 6 months, no problem. That'll feel like a week. It is flying by, and sometimes that's a good thing. And other times when I think about how long my kids have left living with me, I get really sad and I want to really put a screeching halt on it. So anyway, I want to talk to you guys about this idea that I came up with. And after further research, it's probably not a new idea, but it's one that I thought was really interesting to explore. And it's the idea of warming up to relax. And there is solid neuroscience and nervous system research to back up my idea that drinking alcohol to relax without doing this internal warm-up can be very dysregulating, short-lived, and ultimately harmful to you and your nervous system, right? One of the biggest triggers that people that listen to this podcast and the people that I work with say is that they use alcohol at the end of the day to relax. They have very busy, multi-dimensional lives, taking care of people, working, kids, aging parents, whatever, right? And so they're using alcohol as a tool at the end of the day to help them feel relaxed. And I want to talk about that because this idea that I started thinking about last week was we want a quick fix to relaxation, but relaxation takes some effort, right? We don't just flip a switch and like go from super stressed to relax, but that's what we're relying on alcohol to do. So to back it up a little bit, I want to talk about what alcohol does to our nervous system so you can kind of understand this idea a little bit more. So alcohol is a central nervous system depressant. It slows down your brain activity, which is why we love it, right? We want to quiet down all the thoughts at the end of the day. Our heart rate and our breathing, all of those get a little bit softer, and that can feel like relaxation. But this is forced. Okay, you're taking a drug to get to that relaxation state. It's not earned. It's a chemical override. It's not a signal that your body is actually safe or calm. Your nervous system didn't learn how to regulate it. It got numbed. When we drink to relax, we are skipping the parasympathetic rest and digest activation that comes through slow breathing, safety cues, like, oh, I'm in my home now. I'm not at work. I don't have to answer to all the inquiries. Mindfulness. How am I feeling right now? Maybe some slow movement like stretching or a slow walk. And connection with ourselves and what we're experiencing in that moment and processing. So when you drink to relax, your body doesn't complete the stress cycle. It just pauses it or masks it. And according to stress researchers like Dr. Emily Nagoski, when stress builds up throughout the day, it must be discharged through movement, breath, crying, laughter, etc. Otherwise, it lingers in the body. And I talk about this all the time. This is why I really want you guys to process how you feel throughout the day. So one way to do that is to, before you eat your meals, check in with how you're feeling, acknowledge how you feel, and do some breathing. That's really helping yourself process and digest your feelings so you're not carrying that load with you all day without acknowledging, right? And then you use alcohol at the end of the day to just wipe it out, right? So it must be discharged. I like this idea. It's that's the same idea that I talk about is processing. So alcohol, when you drink it, temporarily hides those symptoms, but it doesn't resolve that underlying charge, right? That underlying feeling that you've had all day, or multiple feelings that you've had all day. So the result that this creates for you is that you wake up the next day after you've drank right? The end of the day to relax. You wake up the next day still carrying the days from yesterday, like yesterday's tension, plus the physiological effects of alcohol, such as poor sleep, irritability, and negative thinking about yourself, right? And now you're distracted about how you feel because you drink too much and not solving the underlying issues, okay? So initially, alcohol does lower that cortisol, which is your stress hormone, but it rebounds higher later, right? So you get that immediate low, right? But this, like the cost of that is so much high. I talk about the cost of over drinking, right? More than just a financial number, but it's like the cost of your energy, the cost of your stress, your happiness, your negative thoughts. Like that's that rebound cost that becomes higher later. So while you feel calm after you have a drink, your body is already preparing for a spike later when the alcohol leaves your system. So over time, this leads to more anxiety, poor sleep, and a lower baseline nervous system resilience and emotional resilience. So your window of tolerance, right, your nervous system's comfort zone shrinks, and so does your emotional comfort zone. It shrinks, just like your life. It becomes like you look through a very small lens, making you more reactive and less able to self-soothe without the drinking. This is nervous system dysregulation. So when your tolerance goes small like that, and you're relying on a drug to help you get to a relaxation state, and you're not addressing those underlying stress issues or whatever it is that you had throughout your day that you're looking to relax from, this is nervous system dysregulation. Your body is not able to do this without the drug, okay? And you have also belief systems going on in your head that you can't do it without the drug either. So what I want to really talk to you about today is that your nervous system needs time to shift states. So the transition from fight or flight, right? If you're in a high stress job, you're really busy running around throughout the day, you need time to sort of rest and digest. It's not instant. We want that instant satisfaction. We want to walk in the door or end our day at 5 o'clock and we want to snap our fingers and just, right, and feel relaxed. But it does require more work. It requires signals of safety. I talk about like making, putting your feet up the wall, creating a ritual and how you ease into and transition into your evening routine. So think about like soft lighting, calming voices, exhaling longer than you inhale, grounding practices, breathing, taking a slow walk, stretching on the floor, those kind of things. These create the warm up that your body needs to move from high alert into a more relaxed state. And they strengthen this vagus nerve, which helps you regulate emotions and feel safe. Okay? Drugs don't do that. It just it's like, imagine your nervous system is all frayed, okay? And you drink alcohol and it just puts a coat over your nervous system, but it's not actually making those nerves sort of collapse again. Right? But this idea, this warm up that your body needs to move from that high alert stress state to a more relaxed state, that's going to give you that actual holistic skill of learning how to relax without needing a drug. And for a lot of us who, overdrink, this is something that we've been practicing doing for a long time, using alcohol to get to that relaxation state, right? Alcohol skips that warm up. And over time, this weakens your ability to transition naturally without it. Okay. So the idea of the warm up is actually just nervous system regulation. It's giving your body time and cues to move into safety and ease. And these are earned states and they last longer because you're putting effort into them and you're learning how to do something. So breathing, gentle movement, connection with yourself is most important, stillness, and then repeating those things on a regular basis. Think about your morning routine, right? Like you just don't wake up and then you start working. Like you're not effective, right? You wouldn't be effective. You got to have your coffee and you got to eat and you got to wake up and you got to like take your time, right? It's the same thing at the end of the day. To get to a more relaxed state, you got to ease yourself into that, right? Alcohol gives you that quick fix at the end of the day, but you just leave yourself more fragile and dependent and less tolerant of other things. So the other idea I want to think about is the warm up, right? So like when you think about working out, you don't just show up to the gym and start sprinting right out of the car, right? If you're training for a race, you don't just get out, open up the door and just boom, like run as fast as you can, right? Like you might do some stretches and like, do some intervals or something like that. And then you get your body warmed up and then you do your sprint, right? Same thing like if you're lifting heavy weights, you're going to get there, you're going to stretch, you're going to do some warm ups, you're getting your heart rate going up a little bit, and then you start lifting heavy, right? It's the same idea. Your body needs to warm up. Your mind needs to warm up to relaxation. So when you warm up, you can move your body a little bit. You can increase your blood flow a little bit to your brain to like signal that you are ready to relax, right? So I talked about waking up in the morning and how we don't just jump into work, right? I also love this idea of alcohol as a microwave, okay? It's fast and convenient, but it can leave the inside uneven or leave your food tasting worse cooked in the microwave, right? Have you ever done that? Like cook something and it's like there's these little hot spots or cold spots. It's just not as great, right? So a stovetop warm up or putting something in the oven, it takes longer, right? But your food is a little bit crispier. It's more satisfying. You enjoy eating it more, right? So what would your evening relaxation recipe look like that didn't include alcohol, but you honored your need to unwind in a real way, right? I love the microwave analogy. Love it. Same with the gym analogy or waking up in the morning. All of this is quality relaxation. This is what we're talking about. Quality relaxation is worth waiting for and putting a little bit more intention than just pouring wine in a glass and sitting down and drinking it. Okay. So if you've been expecting or wanting immediate peace as soon as you walk in the door or end your day and wondering why you're not getting it without wine, this is your sign you need to have a little bit more of a warm up. Okay. I also don't think that like it's fine if you want to save your intense workouts for the end of the day, but for a lot of you guys who have intense jobs, you're running around, you're using like the gym at the end of the day to like avoid drinking or get out of the house and change your routine. I want you to, maybe that's okay a couple days of the week, but I want you to explore what it's like to just learn how to relax without needing to do something so intense. Because sometimes we're going to be sick or we get injured or we're traveling or other things are going on that we can't do that. We're too tired, right? And so I really want to encourage you to explore not filling your time there and actually learning how to relax in a holistic way that might take 20 to 30 minutes, 45 minutes for you to actually be like, okay, I'm done now. I can just chill, right? And you've gotten there in a really healthy way without needing a drug to get you there. Relaxation is a skill. And just like any skill, it just needs practice, repetition, and a gentle on-ramp, okay? So 5-minute stretches, a shower or bath, changing into soft clothes, journaling or mind dumping your thoughts, from the day, lighting a candle, listening to a music or a podcast, going for a gentle walk, breathing deeply before making dinner, giving yourself that transition time is super, super important. You don't need alcohol to feel relaxed. You need a transition, one that's gentle, intentional, and supportive, not just for your body, but for your mind and your heart and your nervous system. Okay? So start with a warm up to relax, and you'll be surprised if you try this about how good it feels just to reach that peace. If you just give yourself an opportunity, you will be surprised about how this actually works and is helpful. My evening routine is after I eat dinner. It's immediate face wash, put on my pajamas, and my feet are up. That is my evening routine. I might make a cup of tea. I might have, a bubbly beverage. I might watch TV. I might listen to a book. But I am done. Like I'm pretty much done talking. I'm not having real deep conversations at this point. I might take the dog for a walk if I feel like I need to stretch or something after dinner, but I don't have a lot of obligations or things that I'm required to do at the end of the day because that's important to me. That is one thing that I'm just like, I've worked all day. I've been up since 5 a.m. on most days, and I need to relax. I need to be done. And yeah, I call it I'm expiring now or I'm done for the day. And that cues me to get into my evening routine. And I love my evening routine. All right, my friends, I hope this helps. Let me know what you think. Okay, talk to you next week.